This mutation is Fright Night, and it is really dark. This is the Halloween mutation. We have two special mutators here. We have Trick or Treat and Afraid of the Dark. So Trick or Treat will spawn this little candy bowl over here, and it requires commanders to put in minerals worth of candy into here. And civilians will be spawning from enemy structures, and if there is no candy in the bowl, they will spawn into one of the random enemy unit. And as they start spawning to random enemy units, they will start getting stronger and stronger. So as more civilians start approaching and becoming enemy units, they will climb up the deck tree, and eventually you start off with a Zergling, but then eventually you can end up with a Hybrid Dominator. This mutation is also relatively special because this is the first time that I have played a mutation since I started taking co-op seriously. So this is the first game that you can say, this is the first brutal mutation that I have played since I started streaming, and I think I was level 121 Ascension on the EU server, so this is way before the level 1000 Ascension, and way before Starcraft2co-op.com. This is a really old replay, and yeah, so we'll see how interesting my gameplay is. I'm not really sure how good I'm going to be, but I think it might be an interesting game to cast. So I'm playing Nova over here, and I have an ally that is playing Karax. So the candy bowl is filled over here, and as you can see, there are 11 pieces of candy in there. Civilians do spawn from the enemy structure, so one thing you can do if you want is all clear the mission, because this map can be all cleared. If you all clear the mission, then the civilians will stop spawning. But the thing is, if you've all cleared the mission, then you've probably won the mission already, because you will have to push into the final enemy base there. So I have a bunch of Marines that are here, and they fight over here to try and deal with the first stack wave. There is a solar lance that go down on the stack wave, which was somewhat wasteful because the Marines have no problems dealing with this. But they are going to be moving here, and I'm trying to find my expansion over here. So the Marines will start clearing these rocks, and yeah. So as you can see over here, the mutator, which is Afraid of the Dark, is very similar to Darkness, but just significantly more nasty. Units do not have any vision over here until the camera actually gets there. So you can see over here the gas rocks were not actually cleared as the camera was moved out of the way. So vision needs to be maintained consistently if you want to be able to deal damage. So that'll make the gameplay a little bit more interesting. You can see over there the camera had moved out of the way and then has come back, and that's why these Marines were a little bit delayed. But this is also one of the reasons why this mutator is a little bit difficult. Nova is out now and just sitting around in the base doing nothing. We are waiting for the next stage of the mission. But yeah, it does mean that your expansion is slowed down a little bit because you have to focus far down your resource patches here. So again, diversion on the camera over there, and then back over here, which means the Marines do end up stopping. They stop attacking the expansion. You can see over here again, same thing happens. It's actually very convenient that when you look over the replay, you see where the camera is, because it is actually useful to see how this affects the mutator itself. You can see these Marines like want to attack, but they don't have any vision. Camera vision is required over here. So there's a small deviation here, looking over here, just to try and focus on these rocks, to try and clear these rocks so that the expansion can be taken here. There is no fast expand, I believe, for Nova here. I don't think there is a... yeah, there's no command center that's nearby, so the command center is going to be built on site, which means that Nova's build is a little bit slower than what would be expected. There is a Banshee now that has started to harass here, but Nova is in stealth mode and switches over to shotgun mode just to take out the enemy forces here. And Nova is going to be jumping here and uses the shotgun blast to start clearing this side. And there is a Reaper here that is harassing Nova a little bit, so she points forward a little bit and ends up taking this side out here. Expansion has come down now for Nova, so that'll be okay. And her Marines are still sitting in the base there, so they'll probably want to get rallied to her so she can start dealing some damage to the Void Shard that spawned. There is 6 minutes left on that Void Shard, so there's plenty of time. And I see the civilians over here just picking up the candy over here, and they're high-fiving the candy bowl because they are happy because there is candy in the bowl. Not having candy in the bowl can cause a lot of problems. As I said, like as the mission progresses, they will spawn into higher tech units and will punish you severely for not having any candy there. Same thing also happens if you try and block off your expansion. Some people decide, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and block off my expansion. I'm going to try and block off this candy ball and prevent the civilians from reaching the ball, so therefore nothing will happen. But I think after 60 seconds, they will spawn a unit and just assume that the ball is not there. So there's no avoiding it. You have to put candy in the ball if you do not want to get smashed by the attack waves here. Let's have a look at the production. Production Nova is macroing up, and Karax is going for a static defense build here. So Nova has put down a bunch of Goliaths to deal with the air composition here, so that is okay. And we have a bunch of Marines as well over here to... We have level 1 attack upgrades now coming up for the mech units for here, and Nova will be getting her detection upgrade, and that will help just detect some of the Banshees that are there. We have a bunch of orbital strikes that are coming down on this Void Shard. I think it's kind of wasteful. The orbital strikes would have been much better used if they were used here, but more power to Karax. A couple of the units get caught out here by Nova, but again, 2 defensive drones are here, keeping this thing alive. And there is now an attack wave here that has completely ninja'd Nova, but an airstrike essentially wipes out most of this attack wave. I think there is just one more unit that's left on this side. That
Upgrade complete.
yeah, I think there's a landed Viking on this side that is harassing Nova's base a little bit, but this thing will be cleared out a little bit.
Attack.
There is a solar lance that comes down here to take this out. I don't know where Karax is going to use these other solar lances now, okay, he did use it to try and deal damage to his rocks there. He's built his nexus right next to his rocks, though. I'm not really sure about this. I think he should have just used his orbital strikes here to clear. He started using that now. Chrono Boost does come down. And let's have a look at the production here. Nova just focuses on making some SCVs, but it's I don't think Nova has noticed that Chrono Boost is active, and Karax does not even use this Chrono Boost for anything. So that was basically a burned Chrono Boost for Karax. I'm not really sure why that happened. None of Karax is not supply blocked, and I don't think Nova just realized that is the Chrono Boost was active. So it was kind of a wasted Chrono Boost there. Nova is making her way with her army of Goliaths. No Liberators in this mix, though. Liberators deal a lot of damage to structures if they have their upgrades, so Nova will be struggling a little bit to deal with this. Nova is going to drop a nuke, I think. I think that's Nova's plan. Just trying to get a little bit of vision on this side. I think having trouble targeting this. Okay, so a nuke comes down here. That should take out a little bit of the defenders there. Takes out some of the Thor and deals, I think, 50% HP damage to the hybrid. There is a sabotage drone that comes down. Again, nothing. There is an attack wave here, but the attack wave will get wiped by that Griffin airstrike. Really nice airstrike there that just one-shots that attack wave. And using the airstrike aggressively here is very useful for dealing with the attack waves. Karax is going for the he's going for basically a standard
Upgrade is ready for use.
tower build, but again, like, I don't know. Yeah, Karax's probes are not able to mine from... Okay, you know what's happening here? Karax's probes are not able to mine because he hasn't cleared his rocks, and his nexus is not providing enough vision. If you were to clear your rocks and put a nexus down there, there would be enough vision for your probes to mine. So as you can see over here, there's enough vision to mine from this expansion here. Nova is starting to push through it. Irradiate goes down one of her Marines. I think one of those Marines will die. I think both those Marines will die because there's no split there. One Marine goes down, and I think the other Marine might also go down unless... yeah, I think all those Marines are going to end up... Yeah, 2 Marines go down now, and I think maybe the third one might also get focus fired down here. The Goliaths are really good at dealing with the mech units, so they end up with disabling ability. Another airstrike goes down just to take out that annoying siege tank. So siege tank goes out, and now that Void Shard is free for the taking, and that Void Shard has been destroyed. And there is one more Void Shard that needs to be cleared. That Raven is getting attacked by that missile turret, but no one moves that Raven back now. And that last Void Shard is all that is left. We have an Orbital Strike, another Orbital Strike, and another Orbital Strike to try and take out that Void Shard. Inefficient use of said Orbital Strikes, and we have a number of... Solar Lances, and then an Orbital Strike barrage to take out that Void Shard. So now we have 10 minutes left on the timer. Plenty of time to get more stuff done. Karax is flowing a ton of minerals here, but again, his probes are not actually doing anything because he chose to not break his rocks, and he's been using his orbital strikes very liberally. We have a chrono wave coming out here, so that speeds up Nova's production, but now the chrono wave is essentially wasted because Karax has nothing else to upgrade. Nova does start the next attack upgrade for her army units, so that works really well. And as soon as the chrono wave ends, Karax starts his next set of upgrades, which is very, very unfortunate here. Nova is ready, and there is an attack wave that has spawned here and has ninja'd them, because again, very, very difficult to see where the attack wave is coming from. And a bunch of orbital strikes coming down here to just take out whatever is left here. But a bunch of the Banshees managed to survive, and the orbital strikes have actually missed a lot of the enemy units. Those were more than enough orbital strikes to clear this attack wave, but unfortunately that is a miss. Nova is on this side and is starting to push through, drops a sabotage drone here to weaken some of the enemy forces. And we have another bunch of orbital strikes here, and that Liberator is still alive here. But yeah, it's very difficult when you cannot actually see what's going on. Okay, a bunch of Liberators now are out. And the repair beam is actually helping these Liberators survive. Defensive drone comes down to keep these units alive. And there is an airstrike that gets dropped here just to try and weaken and soften this enemy base here. A Liberator has spawned on this side, and it is harassing Karax's base. Finally takes it out with a Kaidaran monolith, but there is a turret over here. This Nexus is going to be relatively okay, because even though it is getting poked by a railgun turret, or a small mini turret, or whatever the turret is called that comes up from the Raven, the repair beam is more than enough to keep that Nexus alive, and he has actually cleared that with his orbital strikes. Nova is now on this side with the Goliath Liberator army, relatively decent type of army to deal with an air comp, but I would have liked to see some more Liberators into this mix, because I think one of the Liberators were lost. Yeah, one of the Liberators was lost here, which kind of stings. Nova needs a lot more Liberators to deal with the structure DPS here. Liberators move a little bit forward, gets focused by a missile turret, but Nova sends a sabotage drone forward. And now we have another bunch of solar lances that get set down on this enemy base here. So a last solar lance weakens this area out, and he has a solar flare upgrade as well, which means it sets the ground on fire. But unfortunately, this is an air composition, so I would have not gotten this upgrade here. It's useful for dealing with the enemy bases, but not really that much into anything else. A Seeker Missile gets focused into the middle of Nova's army, and it deals a lot of damage over here, and another Seeker Missile takes out the other Raven here. So that kind of stung, but it's really difficult to see where the Seeker Missiles are also coming from, because you don't have vision. There is an attack here by the Void Shard. I think that's going to hit Nova's army completely. Yeah, so Nova's ground army gets hit by that. Seeker Missile again on this Raven gets focused down, takes the Raven out. And now there is an attack wave of Banshees and Battlecruisers on this side, and they are right outside Karax's base. Karax is using his orbital strikes to take it out, but he has used a lot of his energy on taking out these Void Shards, so it is harassing his base here. He uses a Chrono Boost to get some emergency energy, which is enough now to deal with the rest of this attack wave. He has a bunch of Kaidaran monoliths here, and they will take out these Battlecruisers. Nova is over here, and just cleaning up these Void Shards. Unfortunately, these Liberators are not sieged up, which is somewhat unfortunate. I would have been able to clear out a little bit more of the... It would have been able to clear out the Void Shards a little bit faster. But again, Nova has also lost a 2 Liberators in total and 2 Ravens, which is not very pleasant over here. Attack wave has been cleared up by Karax, and he's putting down some more Kaidaran monoliths on this side. And Nova is ready to go and deal with the next Void Shard. Unless she wants to go and deal with the pirate ship, that is also another possibility. We have a bunch of Kaidaran monoliths on this side with some static defense here. Completely defensive Karax here. These probes have finally decided, you know what, I'm gonna go and clear these rocks because I'm not doing anything yet. But now he probably, I think this pylon is probably gonna end up blocking his expansion. So we're gonna see what happens there, but I don't think he's gonna be able to take his expansion because that pylon is in the way. Nova is going to skip this bonus objective because the bonus objective is probably going to cost a lot of time, and not being able to see anything in the map makes this mission very, very difficult. So it's best to play a little bit slower and make sure that you don't end up losing your army, because Nova's army is very, very expensive. So probes decide to attack the Nexus, and then they decide, you know what, we're just going to go and take out that pylon over there. And Nova's Liberators are trying to focus down that hybrid, but the Goliaths are in position over here, and We have a little bit of a disabling ability. Purifier Beam comes down onto this side here, and that hybrid Weaver is on the here, just taking that out. These probes are gonna have a very hard time taking down the pylon because the repair beam is screwing Karax right now, which is actually really funny. The attack wave, there's an attack wave that spawned on that side. I do not know if Nova is interested in dealing with that, but Karax uses his orbital strikes to take that out, and there is a little bit of harass here as well from Amon onto the player's bases. But Nova is fixated on taking out this Void Shard. We have an airstrike that comes down here just to weaken some of the defenders and just clear that line out, because the defenses of the front are basically the more difficult part. On this side, there are a bunch of battlecruisers, but they'll be taken out by the Gaidaran monoliths. And this area, I think, is being harassed by a Viking, but I'm not really sure. It might be a landed Viking there. Liberators are sieged up, so they're trying to get a little bit of vision on here, and the missile turret goes down now. And there is another Void Shard, which Nova is looking for, but cannot find because everything is so dark.
Our base is under attack.
So again, Nova's army does get hit by the Void Shard attack, but Nova's army is relatively decent right now. She'll be able to clear that. That is the second Void Shard down. There are 2 more left to go, and this is going to be, again, a little bit more tricky because you have to push into some planetary fortresses here and some other nasty units here. But that Tuna Fish Hybrid goes down really quickly. This planetary fortress. Seeker Missile goes down on the one of the Liberators. Liberator takes a lot of damage here. Yamato Cannon and another Seeker Missile hits the hits these Liberators here. We have a Solar Lance that goes and takes out the Tuna Fish Hybrid and the battlecruisers. So Nova's army is now free to try and deal damage to this Void Shard here. There is a planetary fortress, but that gets focus fired down as well by Nova's army, and that Void Shard is gone. Now there's one last Void Shard left on this map, and this Void Shard is sitting around here somewhere. So Nova will have to try and maneuver and try and not take too much damage. The repair beam is doing a lot of work here for Karax. Karax's support as well has been really helpful. Just by sniping these high expensive units here. So we have an airstrike again, just to deal extra damage to the Void Shard. And that Void Shard goes down. And that is the last Void Shard down, and that is GG.